Okay, I think we're supposed to wait for everyone, at least for majority, but at least everyone has had a lunch. Okay, I think we can start now, because we're a bit late on timing. Okay, it's good that you're curious, and I hope I can handle another presentation. I mean, my voice. I will be really brief. I will tell you a bit about programs because right now they're a bit different here in Ukraine. They're almost similar, just a little difference. And then we will have a prize giveaway, and maybe some of you will win a prize. We have some gifts really useful for mental health professionals. So maybe you will share some of them with your colleagues. Oh, no, it's not Jack Daniels. Maybe we will consider Jack Daniels next time. But today it's a bit different. Maybe you will have a drink tonight after the conference. So I think I will start now. So let me tell you a little bit about development of TRiM in Ukraine. You've learned something from previous presentations because many of our today's topics overlap and it's quite normal. Here it's important to understand how TRiM has developed in Ukraine. We are still at the very early stage of this development, I think, because many people are not yet aware of it, many people do not yet fully understand it, because when I first joined this course, I was one of those who was curious, it's something interesting, but I had no idea what it is, and I realized what it is only by the end of the training. But it's okay. We faced it a lot when we started to train TRiM around 2 years ago. I was asked, do I know about TRiM? I said no, but I was really curious because I love new things, new methods, new applications. It's always fun to research, to explore and use. So why not, especially since this model is evidence-based? So we met Victor Desenko back then, and I've known Victor for over 2 years now. Soon we will celebrate our anniversary. We created a Telegram group. That's how everything started. And psychologists and psychiatrists, military psychologists started to join us. I'm almost a mental health professional myself. So maybe my environment is mostly represented by mental health professionals, but today our coverage is much wider. Civilians and military from different sectors have registered, and it's cool because TRiM is about peer-to-peer support. It's a tool that can be used not just by mental health professionals, but by lay people as well. But mental health professionals are in the best position to understand the importance of it, so they were most represented during our courses. And we had agreement with Neil about a free of charge implementation of this training at the armed forces of Ukraine. And we faced a situation where it was quite difficult to teach military people as part of volunteering program with only 10 facilitators, and of course not all of these 10 facilitators were like this, not all of them were involved. It's normal because of some professional issues that are not compatible with teaching right now. There is always a percentage that abandons the project, but we faced the issue where it was very difficult for military to train military because military guys have a lot of things to do. So we had to engage civilians train them as trainers. We use train-the-trainer approach. And we realized that some civilians had to complete this training in order to understand and become willing to use or train it, because not everyone has skills to teach other people. And it's okay. I'm using these words such as okay and normal many times. And so, volunteering activities often associated with burnout. So, we had to change, substitute some facilitators. Not everyone was able to join every time. We didn't have such a profound experience of using TRiM, and we were not always able how TRiM could be used by military. I had many questions. Our military guys also had many questions. How to use this system amidst active combat operations? Combat is ongoing. Of course, potentially traumatic incidents happen often on a battlefield. So, how to use TRiM, when to use TRiM, if it's supposed to be done 3 days after a potential traumatic incident. Over time, with the help of our military colleagues who joined trainings, both mental health professionals and not, found answers to these questions as part of brainstorming. We asked a lot of questions to our UK colleagues, and that's how we developed a better understanding of what this is about and how we are supposed to share this knowledge with people who need it. So, we realized that based on our agreement with our British colleagues, we cannot train civilians. Of course, we can train civilians for a fee, because we also need resources to support our activities. And last summer, almost a year ago, I agreed with Neil on using TRiM in civilian sector on a fee basis using Ukrainian rates. Because if you open the March on Stress website, there a drop-in group trading costs around £700, just for you to understand what's the price in the UK. But they were willing to support us, and we have developed a training program based excuse me, I'm a bit tired. So, according to their standards, thank you. And so we share this knowledge, full course, based on original standards. I'll tell you more about it later. So, in early fall, we created a team of 6 people, including me, who completed this full course for almost a month. Right now, our clients have 2-day practitioner course and 2-day manager course. But we also completed certification and about to complete another certification to make sure that we meet the British standards and we deliver the training in a proper way. Because for Neil Greenberg, the author of this TRiM model, it's very important to ensure compliance with standards. Because with compliance ensures the most efficiency. The better we train, the more efficient TRiM will be used, and then it will be truly helpful. Of course, the 6 of us are not able to cover all volunteering needs and all volunteer trainings. So we also have a volunteer trainer team who are trained to deliver military training. The military program is very similar, just a little bit different. I will tell you later more about it, but they are trained, and I can always timely deliver any additional information, communicate any additional information to them. We can introduce adjustments together. So everything is under control. That's how we are sure that they deliver this knowledge to military in a proper way. And in the future, when we have more orders or maybe some donors willing to support us in this journey of implementing TRiM at NGO, NGO, which is very important because unfortunately right now we don't have this capacity. A lot of funds are required while many people at emergency services, rescuers, everyone basically who may face potentially traumatic incidents needs it, but we are unable to physically meet all these needs without funding. We can make a discount, but we do really need this financial support. So when we have more trainings, we will be able to expand our team, and our volunteering trainers will be the first to get certified. Right now, they are teaching TRiM to military people online and sometimes offline, free of charge. Me and Victor also doing this training offline where required. We also available to meet these military needs as applicable. So over the course of this time, I've approximately calculated it, checked all my records. So I think we have completed around 50 volunteers trainings online over the course of this time. It doesn't include offline trainings, though. So military people visited by Victor and other volunteers, including myself, are not included here. Unfortunately, we don't remember all the sessions. We struggle to calculate them. But recently we had a training with the 3rd Assault Brigade. Recently me and Victor delivered 6-day training for almost 90 officers. Victor has already mentioned it. Graduate officers. It was a bit easier to train them because they were in a relatively calm environment as compared to active combat zone, so their mentality was in a better position to process this information because we have a very intense program. We deliver a lot of knowledge, a lot of very significant and important knowledge. 2 days it's not that much. It's not that much for a military program, but this program is supposed to be intense. It must include practical sessions, a lot of practical sessions, so people get a grip of how it works, both in the role of a practitioner and in the role of survivor. We actually doing this role play during our trainings. And we also have conducted around 12 fee-based trainings. Twice a month we're still doing military trainings, and it doesn't include those additional ordered. And we already have over 500 trained managers and practitioners. It's difficult to calculate. We have a Telegram group for people who have completed the training, but not everyone joins this group. Not everyone is able to join this group. Maybe some people just don't like Telegram chats. It's okay. So now let's talk a little bit about our trainings. This training is not just for mental health professionals. Any person may become a TRiM practitioner. It's about peer-to-peer support. So any person without any medical or psychological background may join the training. These people complete a special training to learn more about the effect of stress and traumatic incidents on people. I think some of you have already get this understanding even from our today trainings, because some of our presenters reiterated themselves and it's repeated themselves, and it's really great. It's a perfect way to remember this information. Then it works even better. Often our clients are not psychotherapists, but we teach them to comply with a confidentiality obligation, because it's very important to make sure the person is honest and open with you during TRiM interview. This is just a general table. Later you will be able to watch a recording. This has some general recommendations from our British colleagues. It's very good to use them when you're planning to send someone from your organization to TRiM training, or maybe recommend TRiM training to your colleagues and friends. This training happens in a way that we practice traumatic incidents. We must talk about such incidents. We must practice them. We're trying to select something as neutral as possible to avoid triggers, but still, since we live during wartime, it's really important to make sure that your practitioners are more or less resilient. I mean, your future practitioners, and it's really important for them to actually want to receive this training, to actually use this model. Some people may just use this knowledge. Some people may just come here and understand that I'm not going to do TRiM interviews, I'm not going to integrate the system, but I have received some valuable knowledge, and now I better understand my friends and family members, for example. It's an intense training program, after all. Here we talk a lot about respect. We need to select people who are respected among comrades or among colleagues. This person is supposed to be trusted in the community. So I won't focus too much here. These are just some general organizations. And now let's move on and talk about program itself. So right now we have a program for military personnel that can be used both on the battlefield and in rear areas. We have the first line, the second line. We have talked to military people, and some of them have already practiced it, and they know when it's possible for them to conduct TRiM interviews, when they actually have a chance to talk. And it's helpful because it shows us that it's possible. Among civilians, TRiM can be used at the organizational level and in private practice. So the basic British course is for TRiM practitioners and TRiM managers. Not everyone needs to be a TRiM manager. TRiM managers are more like supervisors for practitioners, mentors for practitioners, while basic TRiM practitioner is something we have launched just a month ago. Basic TRiM practitioner. I will later show some slides to you. So basic TRiM practitioner course is best suits for use in private practice. So if you are not a part of organization but you want to learn and practice TRiM interviews, basic TRiM practitioner course is enough for you. It's for civilians, because military are eligible to complete online and offline program free of charge. So this is basic primary program. This is something we normally discuss, interview and practice during our trainings. So the full British program normally includes these parts: 2 days for practitioners and 2 days for managers. Once again, not everyone needs to be a manager. Not everyone has to be a manager. One manager per 10 practitioners is enough. It's considered a normal workload for one supervisor in such easy format. Here we talk about foundational concepts related to potential traumatic events. We talk about stress. We have very interesting British training materials. Our slides are basically identical to slides used by our UK colleagues. We have translated it and we deliver it in original way. Sometimes we do some contextual adaptation. Sometimes we rely on British experience because our foreign colleagues have more of that experience. We not yet have enough experience to use it for our case studies. This is the reason why we asked so many questions during our training. I personally asked so many questions to understand how it works, how to use it, how it works in different organizations, what we are supposed to do. how it's supposed to be done. And actually, even after training or during training, you can ask something. And if we don't know something, I can contact Neil or Gavin Rogers. Gavin Rogers was our training boss during the first cohort of 10 trainers and during our second cohort of 6 trainers. He's trainer and chief operational officer of March on stress. So he has a lot of experience. He has a lot of experience in using TRiM as a practitioner, not just trainer. Sometimes they go in field to work with companies. They don't have practitioners and managers, and personally works as a TRiM practitioner, TRiM manager. Personally follows the whole TRiM structure. Okay, so we've talked about it. This is a full program, full 4-day program. Once again, manager course is optional. And you see here we are doing demonstrations and we have a lot of practical sessions as part of this program. Also, some people complain that we have too much theory during the first day, but we cannot avoid it because we need to first understand theory and only then use it in practice. This 4-day training best suits for use in organizational setting because there we talk about the whole system of implementing trauma risk management at the institutional level. That's how you can get the full understanding. If the organization trains only practitioners, it may not be enough for them to actually implement and administer this process, because if your organization has people who have completed the full 4 days training, you are capable to build this system at your organization because you have people who have this knowledge and understanding. And of course, we cannot offer a single one-fit-for-all algorithm suitable for all organizations because each organization has different structure, different response program, maybe some existing system, maybe no system at all, and we need to discuss it. We offer support and recommendations, both based on British experience and based on our own understanding, and then organization may use our knowledge and expertise to build this response system best suitable to their specific structure. So, as you see, upon condition of completion of full 4-day course, because only practitioner training is not enough for organization. A little bit about TRiM benefits. I won't focus too much on it. We have talked a lot about it. Then military training, 2-day training, those parts highlighted in gray. Okay, so the parts highlighted in gray are those that we don't cover during military training. We don't cover group interview because it takes a lot of time. Almost half of a day and sometimes even more, sometimes a bit less. But it always depends on the group dynamics, because when we conduct our training, we always want people that we may adjust our timing a little bit depending on group dynamics, because some groups ask more questions about theory, some groups need more practice. It depends on the level of knowledge. With military guys, we don't talk about recommended documentation because they are less interested in these administrative issues. We also have removed a part about organizational implementation of TRiM. So with our military, we're using these very basic topics. And here are some reasons why we use briefer program for military personnel. Yes, indeed, it's very difficult to to have additional self-development program for military personnel. It's really difficult for them to leave the place of deployment for 4 days. They need special permissions. They not always have a possibility. Sometimes it's difficult for them to find even 2 days for online training. Some military officers complete 1 day and then another day with a different group. We are often doing it because sometimes you are called on emergency combat missions. It's very difficult to predict. And this is actually the reason why it's difficult to plan. It's difficult to schedule trainings with military. When I announce online training for military in Telegram group, I try to recruit more people, sometimes 20 to 30 people, but normally our actual attendance is around 50%, and I never know who's going to join and who's not. It's almost impossible to control. So in our Telegram group we share the announcement. We also post it on Facebook, on Instagram account of Psyche Center. For those who don't have a Telegram account, we normally quickly find the people, but if we don't have enough people for some reason, its recruitment may be open for longer. Normally it takes 1 to rarely 3 days. Unfortunately, I haven't yet found a way to overcome the scheduling challenges. It's just our reality we live in. So right now, when military personnel are experiencing very difficult things for their training, maybe too much for them because this training is really intense and you need to rest after training. Seems like it's nothing special, but we keep talking all day long, discussing theory, practicing skills, and basically human brain needs to process this information. People need to rest after such training. So 4-day training is too much for our military right now. Group practice may happen after we have covered the individual interview. I've been pushing it since the very beginning because it's very difficult to practice group work, because there are many different aspects. You first learn how to do individual interviews, then you can practice group sessions. They follow similar algorithm. We mentioned it during our course, but I strongly encourage you to come back to it later, after you have already practiced the primary skills. So also some materials that are suitable for organizations are feasible to be used by military during the war. I think it's perfectly clear, and system needs to be implemented to be more efficient. Unfortunately, during the war, the structure has some, peculiarities. And sometimes people resist new knowledge. We need some time to adapt, we need to test and practice. It's a very long journey to implement something new at the armed forces of Ukraine, especially at the official level. We really want it to be introduced at the official level. It will make our work much easier. The system and the structure will get much easier. But we have decided to do what we can do and offer this knowledge and skills ready to use to those willing to learn. So 1-day training for civilians, basic practitioner course. Once again, I highlighted the things we have removed in gray. We have removed group interview. Look, we give in the general idea of this management strategy after a potentially traumatic incident, but we don't focus too much on all elements and components because it takes half of the day and the group session takes half of the day. So basically that's how we have reduced our trainings, and those who want to use TRiM as part of their practice, such as counseling or maybe use it in own environment. I mean, only TRiM interview, only interview protocol. So for these people, course is sufficient. We also share manual with everyone who completes our course. We share all the materials, so you can choose what are you most comfortable with using. And we also offer a lot of auxiliary information, so you can understand what's most suitable for you. So post-incident management strategy is about this model. We discuss how the TRiM process happens, just for your understanding that it's a real management system. A potential traumatic incident happens, and then we follow these steps. The very heart of the TRiM model is these interviews, TRiM interviews. This is a very core of the whole TRiM model, and we basically teach it during our basic practitioner course. This is most helpful and most discussed part, but actually as part of the response strategy, all these components are of utmost importance. They help us to work even more efficiently with human resources, especially as part in the organizational setting. So if we actually implement this system, then after a potential traumatic incident, we can follow this step and we can use timely and efficient referrals. We would have totally different statistics about mental health disorders and about what's going on with people affected by traumatic situations and suffering from the associated implications. Some people may not notice it, but trauma is an invisible wound. So all these elements are very important. Now let's talk about the benefits of the one-day basic practitioner course. I've already mentioned all these things. It's designed to be used in personal practice, and it covers only TRiM interview and general understanding, general assessment. It's also useful, so we give a lot of this background information, and people have a chance to actually try it in practice and then ask questions. And another benefit, after removing the redundant information, we have made our program 2 times cheaper. We reduce the price 2 times. So if you don't belong to organizations, the best practitioner course is the most suitable for you. Here, sometimes when I talk to the organizational departments, organizational representatives, they ask me what it is. Is it psychological first aid? What's this about? We don't understand. But when I offer more understanding, previously I had to spend more time to explain to people what the TRiM is. But TRiM is also about support. TRiM has an element of psychological first aid. It's a free conversation. It's a post-incident management system. It's a protocol to timely identify the impact of trauma. It's pre-specialized psychological support, basically an interim stage. A little bit about the benefits of our center, of our TRiM training center. Sometimes, maybe somewhere online, you may meet people who have completed some training and offer some services, but the very high chances that this is not a proper training, because unfortunately some people believe they can use TRiM if they have completed some very basic training. No, it's not enough. Once again, we had spent the whole month on our certified training to discuss all aspects and details. So we use very simple language as per British recommendations. We teach TRiM in simple words for regular people who are not mental health professionals. We don't use some serious professional vocabulary, and we try to make this program as simple as possible. This is a link to our website. These QR codes are all around. All these QR codes lead to our website, and on our webpage you will find more information about TRiM. We already have price list on our website. The basic practitioner course, next basic practitioner course is planned on June 30th, but we finalize the dates only after we have cohorts. We have a little marketing challenges, but I hope we will continue to develop. Sometimes it takes several years to get this momentum. So this is the reason why we're talking right now about our capacities, about the services we offer. But of course, it's up to you to decide, do you need it, do your colleagues or friends or family members need it. But I will always appreciate if you support us, if you recommend us to people you know, if you share information about us. And actually the reason we are here is to help more people get this knowledge. For mixed cohorts, we spend a little bit more time planning the training, but we have larger groups and we finalize the date only after we have enough people. Because some people may drop off, may change their plans, and the group is too small to conduct the training. So we first finalize the list of participants and then finalize the dates. With organizations, it's simpler. There we offer both practitioner course and manager course, but for dropping groups for civilians, we need to first finalize the cohort and then we can launch the training. So after we have more people willing to complete the course, these trainings will happen more often. For now, we have a little bit of waiting time, and it's also a little bit more difficult to find people for manager course. Not all people work in the organizational setting, not all people need manager course. So most likely drop-in groups for civilians are represented by mental health practitioners. So sorry, you need to wait a little bit for a manager course. So it's better to order it as part of the organizational setting. Go to your organizational leadership and say that you need TRiM, then it will happen faster. And if you have any questions, now you have a chance to ask them.